Hello, Nishi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Amazing. You're a life coach.
I am.
Tell us how you become a life coach.
So I started off in a completely different kind of area of work. I did my degree in accounting, and I worked at kind of IBM, Coventry Building Society, AGCO, a few big companies for the kind of first 10 years of my career. And then I had kids and wanted to find some work that fitted around them. So then I started mentoring in a secondary school and absolutely loved it. Was petrified for the first week working with those giant kids, but just loved it. Really felt like it was my calling. And so I went back to uni. I did a postgraduate diploma in coaching and lots of other courses around coaching. And then I've been a coach here at Ben for 4 years now.
And was life coaching a thing before you come in?
Was
life coaching at Ben much of a thing before it come in?
It was, yeah. It had been around. I think the service has developed over the years, but it's relatively new. I think 6 to 8 years in at Ben. Yeah.
Cool. So obviously we're on 2026 now, and like what does life coaching look like in 2026?
So I think life coaching has really developed over the last few years. Kind of if you think back 20, 30 years, it was more about performance coaching, like becoming bigger, better, faster, more efficient, better at work. But I think life coaching is much broader now. Anyone can have coaching on any sort of topic, professionally, personally, and for all sorts of different topics. You know, people have kind of spiritual coaching, people have professional coaching, you can have coaching around your parenting, lots of different topics. So I just think it's broader and for everybody.
Do you specialise in a certain type of coaching?
So some people will pick a niche, something that they're interested in and go down that route. At Ben, we do general life coaching, but each of our coaches will have some sort of special interest. I'm quite interested in something called nonviolent communication, and also internal family systems, which is around kind of understanding the different parts of ourselves and the different kind of perspectives we have in our head and giving a voice to that and hearing that out a little bit and then finding our kind of self and being a bit more self-led rather than being led by these different polarised ideas that we sometimes end up with.
I think in life coaching, I think there's lots of different understandings of it, which obviously some we would put down as myths, some are facts. Like, is there any sort of like myths or facts you can myths you can debunk and facts you can go, actually, yeah, that's correct?
Yeah, I think some myths are around it's an alternative to therapy. You know, sometimes therapy can feel like a kind of quite a big thing for people and they don't want to go down that route. It feels like admitting, oh, there's something wrong. So then people think, oh, I'll go for coaching instead, but they are completely different. Therapy is more kind of looking at the past and the present moment, whereas in coaching we try to stay in the present and forward focused. We might go back to the past a little bit, but we won't stay there too long. I often use a bit of an analogy when thinking about the difference between coaching and therapy. If somebody's on the floor and they feel like I just can't get up, then therapy is a great way of getting people back up onto their feet. Coaching comes in when you feel like, right, I'm on my feet, but I'm just not sure which direction I want to go in. I find that's a useful analogy.
What kind of things, like when people come to you, especially at Ben, what kind of things are they coming to you with? What is their output? What people are kind of...
A big one is confidence. People come to coaching at Ben for confidence coaching, communication, career progression, a lot of those sorts of things. Yeah.
Is there anything really unexpected that anyone's come with?
So recently I had an individual that came for coaching and they had some neurodiversity. They were writing a book. They had lots of projects, which is often quite common if someone's got ADHD or some sort of neurodiversity. Lots of really great, interesting projects, really passionate, but was a bit of a one-man band and was struggling to kind of get the momentum. So he was doing a show at the Edinburgh Fringe, writing a book, doing all the production, all the writing, and he writes poems about the industry, about cars and things like that. So he wanted a bit of focus to get his book done and get him focused, ready for the show. He had a few months and just wanted to get ready for the show. So that was really fun and really interesting.
That's really cool. Do you have any other unexpected challenges or things that people come to you for coaching?
I guess you don't know what someone's going to bring. They pop up on the screen, you pop up on the screen. You have a little bit of an idea of what they're going to come with, but sometimes things can really take a turn and you go somewhere that you weren't expecting to go and they weren't expecting to go. So I think in coaching, we are always ready to be flexible and to make sure that the agenda for the session stays with the client wherever they want to go. And I think that's one of the nice things about coaching is that I haven't got a vested interest in what we're going to do, what we're going to talk about. It's all about the other person. And it's unique for them to have that kind of focus, attention and presence and someone to listen to them like that. I think that's the magic of it.
Can you explain coaching as a concept?
Yeah, coaching. So I often describe coaching as a safe place to think because often we're so busy doing so many different things. We don't get that time to stop and think, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Do I want to do something different? If I do, how do I make that happen? So coaching is that unique conversation. It's not quite the same as talking to friends and family because you'll have no history with your coach. They won't know anything about you really. And like I said earlier, they won't have a vested interest in the outcome. So it's kind of having that thinking partner sitting alongside you, helping you to do your own good quality thinking.
So do coaches, as coaches, do you give the answers?
Yeah, that's a good question. In coaching, we don't give the answers because I guess what we're really trying to do is help people to feel empowered and feel like they don't always need their coach with them to get things done. So it is really about empowering them to kind of hear their own voice through all the noise. And that noise could be other people's perspectives, but also the polarising voices they've got in their own heads as well.
How does that support somebody's well-being? How does coaching go towards supporting well-being?
I think sometimes, what I observe in coaching is that people can sometimes come in and they've got a lot of noise in their head. I often kind of refer to it as knotted wool. Yeah. And that can feel like a lot. And the first session is like usually a download of everything that's going on in their head. And when they do that offload, they're like, I don't know if any of that made any sense. And for me, what I'm often doing in the first session is mapping out all the different perspectives I can hear that are coming out for them. And when you feed that back to them, they just go away, just even from one session, with a bit more clarity. So I often use that analogy of it's a bit like knotted wool. And in the coaching, we're untying it all, laying it all out nice and flat. And then at the end of the session, we wrap it all up into a nice neat ball and then they can go on their way.
Analogies.
Really good. So we're at the start of 2026. Everyone's new year, new me. What does goal setting look like? What should goal setting look like?
So I've got a thing about the new year, new me thing. I think it definitely does feel like a new slate, the start of the year. But arguably the start of the day, the start of a new week, the start of a new month can also feel like a clean slate. So it's great. It's great to have some sort of time that you pick to, set some new goals and start doing something differently. But I'd say don't put massive amounts of pressure on yourself to kind of overhaul your life on the 1st of January, because we know that it generally doesn't stick. Generally, what we find in coaching is that small incremental changes have disproportionately bigger impact on people's lives.
The compound effect.
Yeah, they're shocked at how, at how that little bit of habit stacking and they're like, I can't believe just that one little change has made such a big difference.
So would that be your advice in how to go around setting goals?
Yeah, keep it small, keep it manageable, get consistent with something first and then stack something else on top of it.
So like people will could they set things in different ways? Like what's the best way for people to set things? Like how would they set it? Is it like on the fridge?
Right, yeah, how to set goals. I guess it depends on what works for you. A question we often ask is what have you tried before? And see what's worked for you, what's not worked for you. And some of the things people have said have worked are things like keeping it on your lock screen on your phone. So, whenever your phone pings it, you see your goals on your lock screen, having it visible, next to your computer or on the fridge or wherever, just keeping it visible. And I guess having a vision, a goal, a reason why that's usually one of the first questions. People come with a goal, and the beginning bit of the session is about thinking, well, why is this your goal? And just sense checking, why is this a goal for you? And sometimes people change their mind and think, oh, I don't really know if that is the goal, and they change their mind.
And that's cool, right? Surely being able to sort of I think a lot of people hold a value to that, is that scared to change their goal because they've already set a goal.
Yeah. And I think if you're not doing it, if you've set a goal and it's not happening, it's worth asking the question, is it the right goal? Maybe it needs to be something different. Maybe it's not kind of rooted in your values as much as you think it is.
And asking yourself again, why?
Yeah, why exactly?
I love the idea of vision. So like for us as a business, we have a vision statement across the business, so everyone knows what we stand for and why we do what we do. And I think that's a really important thing for that's something that I've learned through coaches, like actual life coaches, try and set a vision for what does the future thing you're trying to solve, or the future vision of you look like.
Yeah.
Vision's really cool.
It is. It's good.
We just said about changing your mind. Does that take confidence? Like, how does the life coaching go towards improving somebody's self-esteem and confidence? Because that does take quite a bit of confidence, isn't it? If you put it out that you are going to stick to this goal, and then you decide to change that goal.
Yeah. I think a lot of confidence is around trusting yourself. And I think when you trust yourself, then other people trust you as well, because they can see the passion. And I always go back to this model of internal family systems, because I think if you think about, sometimes what happens is you think, right, I want to go for this new job, or I've got this goal that I've set. Part of me really wants to do it, really wants to go for it. And part of me is doubting whether I can do it. Part of me is judging myself. What about when you set this goal at the start of 2025, you didn't stick to that? Are you really going to stick to this one? And we have these other kind of doubting voices in our heads. So the coaching process is really around hearing both sides out. It's not about shutting off the critical voice or the judging voice, or shutting off the voice that's got self-belief. It's about listening to all the parts and perspectives. And then you, as your best self, when you're kind of got that sense of calm, clarity, confidence, courage, persistence, patience, something that they refer to in internal family systems as the self. It's like us at our best. Then once you've heard all those views, you make the decision about what is the best step forward.
If there's a lot of exterior noise, obviously in a coachy perspective, you can create an environment which is great. But if there's a lot of exterior noise, how could one deal with that? Yeah,
again, hearing it out, because I don't think repressing things is helpful. If there's something that keeps coming up over and over again, you're better off listening to it, hearing it out, letting it have its kind of moment in the light, but then again coming back to that centered place where you make the decision.
Love that.
So after listening to this, what simple things could people do to improve their confidence?
They could. Something that we often do in coaching to help people with confidence is doing a bit of life mapping. So looking at all the things that they've achieved over their life, and then really understanding, well, what strengths underpinned that. I couldn't have, opened that business or done what I did without these strengths. So sometimes we do sessions where we just help people reflect on the things they've achieved, help them understand, right, these are the strengths that it must have taken to do that, persistence, patience, whatever it is. And people go away with a bit of a list. And we really have some really beautiful moments when people hear back their list of strengths. And I'll often ask, like, how would you feel about someone that you met that's got this list of strengths? What would you think about them? And they're like, well, I think they're amazing. And then you're like, well, this is your list of strengths. You couldn't have done what you've just told me you've done if you didn't have this list of strengths. And so that exercise really resonates with people. And I think it's a quick win with confidence.
That one.
What about self-esteem? Because obviously we talk about confidence, but self-esteem, obviously they're two different words. So they're obviously got two different meanings to respect, but they seem like they're quite closely tied. Give me your understanding of self-esteem.
Yeah, self-esteem. So I like breaking words down. It's the esteem within which you hold yourself, your sense of self-worth, the position that you give yourself in your own head, I guess. And sometimes that can take a bit of a battering, depending upon what's going on in life and the history of, your experiences. But I often find with a bit of reflection, people start to realise, actually, I have done a lot. I have achieved a lot. I couldn't be where I am had I not done that. And then they start to kind of rebuild that sense of self-esteem.
It goes back to sort of building the small wins, doesn't it?
It is, yeah, because I think if you just set something, like going back to what you said, Ellen, small wins for confidence, another thing that we sometimes suggest is making micro commitments, just something small, like I'm going to speak up once in a meeting today, just once. And when you do that regularly for a couple of weeks, you build trust in yourself. Okay, yeah, I did that. I stuck to that one tiny little small thing, and then that you can build upon that.
You realise it wasn't as scary as you thought it would.
Yeah, micro commitments, I think, is a great one. Yeah.
So how can a person improve their health through coaching?
So I think just the offloading that you get from a coaching session and that bit of perspective and space for yourself is great for your mental health. It can also be great to physical health because we know that they're linked, mental health and physical health. So I think working on things that are going on can impact. We can also work on kind of physical health goals in coaching. Sometimes people come with a particular health goal that they want to work on, and we can help them goal set and work towards that.
I like to look at things like the brain's the ECU and the body's just a vehicle.
Yeah.
And if the ECU is mapped up wrong, the vehicles can't do it. So they are really closely correlated.
Are you talking in car speak?
Yeah, I'll trust you on that one.
We are in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not debating that.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be a couple of people that might be in cars themselves listening to this, Ellen. You know that, don't you? Not just you.
Surprise.
Not just you listening to this yourself.
You'll have to tell me what an EP...
An EPG? What's an EPG?
If someone did come to you with a health goal, would you use the same strategies as you would for any other goal?
Yeah, I think the big coaching strategies are listening and being present with that person, and helping them to figure out what is it that I want to achieve, and what's worked, what's not worked, what are the obstacles, how can I get around that. One model that I like to use a lot is something called the support challenge matrix, which is around mapping support against challenge. So if you have lots of support and no challenge, you end up in this box called the cozy club. You're just coasting along and not really achieving anything, but it feels nice and comfortable. If you have lots of challenge and no support, that's really stressful. If you have none of either, no challenge, no support, you just kind of end up not doing anything, feeling apathetic. So the environment we're trying to create in coaching is high support and also high challenge, helping people find their edge and supporting them in pushing that out a little bit.
Do you think coaching definitely helps people with accountability?
Yes. If it's the right goal, coaching can help people with accountability, because sometimes people come to coaching because that's exactly what they're looking for. They've tried everything and they know that if someone's, if I know Nishi's going to be asking me about this in 2 weeks when I have my coaching call, they're more likely to do it. So coaching does definitely help with accountability. But I guess I'd also say that at some point coaching will end. At Ben, you can have up to 6 sessions of coaching. Some people come and have 1, or they'll have 3, or they'll have all 6. But in coaching, we're really trying to help people to become self-sufficient and develop their own accountability strategies so that they don't need us by the end. We don't want people to be reliant on us.
Might sound like an obvious one. Who is coaching available to?
Coaching is available to anybody in the industry. Even if you've only worked a day in the industry, you can access coaching at Ben. And we can coach from ages 16 up.
So no limit?
Yeah,
no limit?
No limit at all.
So if you're the oldest person in the industry, let's see what that limit is.
You can be retired too.
Yeah.
You can be retired as well?
Yeah,
Wow.
left the industry the other day.
Yeah.
Anyone that's in or impacted by the industry?
Yeah.
What a charity you guys are.
About 3 million people eligible.
Is there really?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Crazy.
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 Confidence is never about feeling afraid. It's about trusting yourself and try anyway. Does that land with you?
It does, yeah. There's a great book by a lady called Susan Jeffers, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I love that book. I read it years ago. I think it was written in like the 30s, and almost 100 years ago. 100 years later, we're kind of still talking about it. I think it was. But I love that because it's pushing you to kind of, being confident isn't about not feeling scared. You will feel scared, but it's about pushing through and doing it anyway. And, you know, the kind of big thing around that book is telling yourself, I'll handle it. Whatever happens, I'll handle it. And I guess having a charity like Ben is part of that. You know, we're here to support people when they do find themselves in difficult situations.
For anyone that might be on the fence about reaching out for coaching, is there any other resources that they could reach out to or look at before taking the plunge?
Yeah, so if people are thinking about reaching out for coaching, they could have a look at our website. There's lots of Ben stories on there, people talking about their experience of coaching, what they reached out about, how it was for them. Sometimes people do say, oh, it was really daunting reaching out, but I'm so glad I did it. Okay. And when we ask for kind of what would you say to somebody, they always say just do it, because initially it's just a conversation. There's no pressure. Come and have a look and see what coaching is about. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Come and have one session. If it's not for you, you don't need to come back. It's fine.
What have you got to lose?
Yeah, what have you got to lose? Exactly.
What have you got? Yeah. After the 6 sessions, where could they go from there?
Yeah, so after 6 sessions, they could come back to coaching again. You know, you can, after a year, you can come back and have some more coaching on a new coaching goal. We also do a coaching service now called Spotlight Coaching, which is a 90-minute one-off session. Not everyone's got time in the working day for 6 sessions over 6 or 12 weeks. So Spotlight Coaching is just a one-off 90-minute coaching session. You can have up to 3 of those in a year.
It feels like endless resources.
Is there a certain type of person that comes for coaching? So in the industry, you've got office workers, you've got manual workers, people in garages, people in
manufacturing offices, technicians. There's so many different types of people. Is it literally open to everyone?
Yeah, and I think that's what I love about coaching, because coaching is expensive. Actually, some coaches charge hundreds of pounds an hour, thousands of pounds an hour for coaching, and here at Ben it is free, which is amazing. And it is literally, you know, we will have people come that work in the workshop, people that come work in the C-suite, in the dealership, from everywhere, every kind of corner of the industry, and everyone's welcome.
That's incredible. I want to sign this off, and if you don't know why you should coach, that's why. Just get in. Yeah. You must find your why.
Yeah.
And I think that coaching, when I started to understand what coaching looked like, it really helped me understand why anything.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to help sort of promote this service. It's really cool. So thank you very much.
It's going to be your next client.
Yes. I am much deeper than 6 sessions, believe me. There's a lot to unpack here.
There's a lot of goals.
There's a lot of goals. Yeah.
They change every day.
But if I can have 6 sessions to every goal, can I just have my own coach?
That's going to sound like you might need.
Yeah, I need a full-time coach. Nishi, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nishi.
Thank you.